Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Hey, David, let's hurry this up. I got Star Trek on at 11 o'clock, so.
That might cheer. I'm looking forward to something to cheer me up, too. There was very little in that game to provide dopamine to Oilers fans.
You ain't kidding, brother.
9-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche. Let's just get at it, Kurt. Well, and we'll talk after we do the two good things, two bad things, two number. We'll get to the heart of the matter. Like, where do you go from here?
Yep.
Okay. Your good thing, Kurt.
My good thing is the 9-1 ass whipping that they survived at the hands of the Colorado Avalanche tonight. And I that's half joking, but it's mostly serious. I think we can agree, with the exception of a couple games this year, this team hasn't been right all season. And I think we can agree that you haven't just been able to point to one thing. You know, it's been the goaltending one night, the defense one night, the 5-on-5 play another night, giveaways by your star blue liner, like la la la. Every night it's something different. But after a while, it's, you know what? Maybe what these guys really need is a good, swift kick in the ass. Well, they got that tonight. They got booed off the ice by their hometown fans, 18,000 and change, who paid their hard-earned money to watch whatever that was. Honestly, in a season that has kind of lacked emotion, at least on the face of it. You and I aren't in the room, so what do we know? But it certainly hasn't been an emotional brand of hockey. Maybe after tonight, maybe they walk in, a little bit embarrassed, saying, what are we doing here? Even our fans thought we stunk tonight. We maybe didn't get a lot of help from our starting goaltender, but we also kind of hung him out to dry. So what did we do? We put in our backup goaltender, who we really like to play for, and we hung him out to dry. Let's. It's not enough to make one goaltender look bad. Let's make two look bad. So at the end of the day, I am serious. Maybe this 9-1 result is what this team needs to wake the hell up and decide what they are and what they want to be, and turn the season around before they end up on the back end of this coming road trip in really serious shape in terms of the standings.
Yeah, what is it? 7 road games coming up here?
Yeah, it's a toughie, man. It's a toughie. And we all knew the start of the season schedule was tough, and it has been tough. But I'm not for a second going to blame this on the compressed schedule. It's the same for everybody, right? So
that game was mind-numbingly bad. There were so many bad things. I was having a hard time keeping up with them.
I know.
The game grades in the grade A shots. The grade A shots, by the way, were 20-11 for the Avs, with a subset of 5 alarm shots. The most dangerous shots, 13-4 for Colorado. I'll go with the first 3 goals against, actually. And I had Stuart Skinner making mistakes on all 3 of them, but he wasn't the only one. So the first one starts, the puck goes around the boards in the offense in the Oilers zone, and the first mistake is by Jack Roslovic, or the first battle lost. Connor McDavid's playing the man on the half wall, and Roslovic decides, instead of covering the point, he's going to go help out and try to win the puck. He's a little over aggressive and goes to the open point then. And then Draisaitl, Cale Makar's his man. But because Roslovic has lost the battle already, Kurt, the point's open, so Leon's drawn there, and he's an aggressive player. He goes in that direction, and the puck gets passed to Cale Makar with all kinds of time to shoot the puck. That's the last guy, or one of them. It's the second last guy on the Avs, other than Nathan McKinnon. You want to give time to move in and shoot the puck, and he launches an outside shot from the top of the face-off circle, and Stuart Skinner is caught. It's through a screen, but Skinner is looking. He's guessing, and he's looking on the wrong side of the screen, and leaves big part of the net wide open. He
Thought
plays
he
it
was
very,
deep too in his net.
yeah, he plays it poorly, and he gets beat. And he's made. I've seen this goal against. Maybe if you watch a goalie closely, you see the same goal against a lot. But I've seen this kind of goal against quite a bit, where he's looking the wrong way on a screen, and I don't think I see it with Pickard as much. Even though Pickard's a shorter man than Stuart Skinner, he tends to try to look around that screen often and gets caught then on this kind of goal exactly. So again, he's not the only guy making mistakes. Roslovic and Draisaitl make small mistakes, and the puck ends up in the hands of the wrong guy, Cale Makar, who knows what to do with it when people make mistakes. The next goal is very similar. Or do you want to cut in on the first? Anything else on the first goal?
That I also thought Ekholm, and when you're supposedly playing zone defense, he was all over the place. Like I would expect better positional play from what should be your most reliable defenseman.
He had a rough night.
Yep.
He had a rough night. The next goal is off a face-off, and goes straight back. Nuge loses it, and it goes straight back, and Mangiapane can't get out there. And so then Colson does exactly what Draisaitl has done. He sees the open man, and instead of covering his man, Makar, he's drawn to that. Probably should have just left that. Let Mangiapane work his way through that, and let Taves have the puck. I think when you're out there with these incredible star players like Makar and McKinnon, you've got to, on the faceoff, you have to think, he's my man, he's my man. When he's out there, you got to know that, and you don't then cheat towards the other player. You make sure you got the really deadly player covered. And Podkolzin doesn't do that. He moves towards the Devin Taves with the puck, who puts it over to Makar, who moves in and beats Skinner again with an outside shot. It's a hard shot, as Louis DeBrusque made clear, and a quick shot. But it's from outside, and he's got a good look at it, and he's got to make that save. That one, he just has to make that save.
Yep.
It's a really, again, I cheer for Stuart Skinner. I have thought he's going to come around and be the Oilers goalie. And I think last week there was a game where 2 weeks ago, I expressed this is the first time I'm really starting to doubt that. And tonight I'm having those same feelings of sadness and hurt that he's not going to do it. And it does make me sad. I'm cheering for that guy, and it's hard to see.
Yeah. Well, when I watched that second goal, I thought Hockey Net in Canada was just showing a replay because it was so similar to the first goal, right? Except this time, it's like, if you're going to win with a goaltender, that goaltender has to pull a big one out at an important time for you. And an important time isn't a big save when it's 3-0, right? A big save is when it's 1-0. And you stop a puck that you shouldn't stop. On one hand, this is Cale Makar, almost certainly the best defenseman in the NHL. If anybody's going to score from that spot twice in a row, it's probably going to be him. But you need your goalie to grab one of those, right? And
both of them, really both.
Well, I agree, but my bigger point is, even if he stops one of them, it's still a 1-0 game.
Yes.
Right. Whereas it's 2-0, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. And you could almost see the whole bench sag, I thought, after that second goal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you certainly did after what was originally the 3-0 that was called back. It very easily could have been 3-0 really early in this one. So I agree with you with the assessment of the goal, but at some point you just need your guy to bail you out. And if this is the team that needs a goaltender to bail you out to win, maybe they do need a different goaltender. And I'm with you. I've been a supporter of Stuart Skinner's too, but maybe he's not the right goalie for this type of team.
So the third goal is a lost battle along the boards. Trent Frederick first kind of loses the battle, then he's slow to getting out to cover the point shot. But the Skinner sees the point shot quite clearly the whole way, I think. And he kicks out a pretty juicy rebound into the slot. And Darnell Nurse has failed to cover little Gavin Brindley sneaking in from the corner. Nurse is not on him at all. He's not even close. And Brindley jumps on the rebound and puts it in. And it's 3-0. So Trent Frederick, I just want to say, he had a really he made a mistake on another goal against. But Kurt, in terms of disappointing players on the Oilers this year, I mean, it's disappointing with Skinner. It's really disappointing with Trent Frederick, who just signed this 8-year deal. Like, man, like, this is a game, like, hit someone, get angry, fight someone, do something, rile them up. Like, every Oiler fan is just craving Corey Perry right now, just wishing that the team had re-signed that guy, because there's just no one on the team that seems to have any fight, any fire in them. And Trent Frederick, that's supposed to be his game. He's this unique player that we were told when he signed the contract, who's got this unique skill set. What is the unique skills? I'm starting to wonder.
Well, the other guy in this club who you would think would pair up with somebody would be Darnell Nurse, but he was too busy being terrible tonight. I mean, I know you track your own shots and you do a wonderful job of it. The natural stat trick statistics, which some people love, some people don't. But 5-on-5 tonight, Darnell Nurse CF was 3-20, 13%.
Wow. And Regula must have been bad too with Regula. I kind of thought I saw Regula fairly good, actually.
Yeah, well, Regula was almost as, in fact, he was worse in terms of the numbers, but in terms of volume, he wasn't. Scoring chances against, Darnell Nurse 1-4-12 against, and high dangers 1-4-5 against. That's rancid.
That is rancid. I mean, I didn't see Regula good. I saw him okay.
Yeah.
None of the Oilers defensemen were
relative to Mr. Nurse. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Darnell almost gave away a breakaway, so it could be 10-1, but right at the end. So.
Oh, that was a hard game to watch and to focus on.
It was. It truly was. If it wasn't my job, if we weren't in the cult of hockey, I saw my friend Marty Forbes shut the game off and started watching like CMT. After 2 periods. It's like, I don't blame you, Marty.
Yeah, why would you watch it? Okay. Well, those are good things.
Yep.
Where are we now? Okay.
You kind of jumped in my bad thing, but that's okay. Do you want me to pick it up from there?
No. Okay. I just gave my bad thing. What's your bad thing?
Well, my bad thing was the utter lack of pushback.
Okay.
And I'll pick a specific point in the game where I thought, where's the fight? Where's your pride? Right? I thought that because with the game 8-1, the game's 8-1. Colorado goes on the power play, and what did they do in an 8-1 game in the third period? They start their number 1 power play unit. If that isn't just taking your face and rub it in the crap, I don't know what is. But hey, that's their right. Jared Bednar can put out there whoever he wants, right? But you know what? The Oilers didn't look the slightest bit pissed off about that.
Yeah.
I didn't see them angry. I didn't see a face wash. Trent Frederick, I agree. He was just a ghost in that third period. Do something. Show some life. You know, I was not in favor of overpaying a 40-plus-year-old Corey Perry either. But at least in the third period, he would have paired up with someone and showed some gumption. Like these guys just faded into the ice and slunk away. Like, come on, like back your teammates up, show some backbone. I was pretty disappointed with how quietly they went into the night on this.
Corey Perry would have done it in the last 5 minutes of the first period, down
2-0. Probably after the 3-0 goal. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have done it. Sorry, Kurt, I'm so discombobulated. I'm stomping on your thing, and I forgot to give my good thing. Period. I was so quick to get to the bad things. My good thing was Noah Philp. I thought he had a good tip shot. He sent in Mangiapane on a break. He was not. But the best thing was him on the PK. He was quite effective on the PK, and the Oilers were they killed off. It says 8 power plays. I think one of them was pretty short. They allowed 9 goals, but Colorado was 0 for 8 on the power play.
It was all 5-on-5
anomalies. Philp was really good. It's the first This is the first game. I think he's had like less than a minute of PK time all year, and finally they used him tonight. So that's a good thing that happened. They're figuring like they. There seems to be a lack of team spirit on the Oilers, and they don't seem like a team. Well, part of that is a lot of the players aren't getting a lot of ice time and aren't being used properly. You know, it hasn't been terrible, but it seems to have gotten worse. But tonight was a little bit better. I mean, the score was horrible, but at least they used Philp. I think they used Podkolzin.
They did
also on the PK.
Yep.
Podkolzin was like, there wasn't a lot of great PK work last year done on the. He was out there for 3.5 minutes on the PK. There wasn't a lot of great work done last year on the PK period in the regular season, but Podkolzin was fairly decent on the PK. And this year, he didn't get a minute until tonight. So this is a good thing that these guys finally got used and are playing better.
Yeah, on the Noel Philp thing, I got to say, I agree with you on that. It kind of stumped me. So this kid makes the team out of camp. He's spent most of the time that he spent last year in Bakersfield on the PK, being one of their penalty kill specialists. And then he makes an NHL team as a fourth liner, and he's not going to be on the PK. I mean, you're more or less designating the guy to 8-9 minutes a night. You're really not putting him in a very good position to succeed. I don't know. I agree. I thought he was quite effective on the PK tonight. I thought Savoy was pretty decent on the PK tonight as well. I thought Savoy had his boots tonight. Thought he was one of a precious few Oilers who I thought looked like he was moving out there. So yeah, maybe there's something that the coaching staff sees or doesn't see in practice when it comes to the PK, which is why they haven't been using Philp on it. But I think I would have had him on one of the units to start the season. So color me confused by that one.
If he can't be on the PK, Kurt, he can't.
Why is he here? Yeah.
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 I'm with you. It's I don't know. There's clearly not everybody in the organization is advocating for Noah Philp, or he would have got a shot before now.
Yeah.
Right.
Number, Kurt.
2009. This was the worst whooping the Oilers had endured since 2009, when they lost 10-2 to the Buffalo Sabres. I was at that game. I paid good money for that game. It was at the old Rexall Place. I got way more pleasure out of my $9 hot dog and my $11 beer than I did out of that game that night. And, I probably would have felt the same tonight with my $12 hot dog and my $16 beer. So, or whatever they cost now.
So, my number is 1. Leon Draisaitl had one shot, and he didn't have one grade A shot. Just he had one shot. He didn't play that badly. He set up a couple nice plays. I mean, he was out of position, as I say, through over aggression on the first goal against. But I mean, he was okay in the game. But it just shows, like, when you're big man, when your big gunner gets one shot, it just shows like this team is not in sync. They're not figuring it out. They gotta find a way to unleash that guy. Maybe he's got to find a way to unleash himself. I mean, I thought the McDavid, Roslovic, Draisaitl line was okay-ish, but they weren't. They were outplayed by the big line of the other team, and they were certainly outscored. Draisaitl was -3. What's Roslovic -3? Is McDavid also -3? Yes, he is. All of them -3. So.
They had good fancy stats. 5-on-5, they had pretty good flow of play. My take on your comment, well, I think it's a totally fair comment. Look, you've probably asked your coach, like put us up against their big line. Like, we'll relish this, right? But the problem was they really didn't get a chance to make a difference. I mean, it was 3-0 before this game was barely started. So. So you're right. I don't disagree with you, but if it's a 1-0 game, I think you get a different performance out of these guys than all of a sudden, bam, 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 it's 3-0 and the game's all but over.
They were out for the first goal against, of course. So, and Roslovic and Draisaitl made mistakes on it. Kurt, I would have greatly preferred to see the coach, and again, this is involving another line on the team, give it to, like, Henrik, Philp, and whoever, Frederick, to shut down the McKinnon line, to say, we've got a special job for you tonight. And we're gonna free up the McDavid line. We're gonna soft match them as much as we can to score, and you're gonna shut down the McKinnon line. That's your job. And I think that's what I was hoping to see heading into the game. Partly because I'm not really sold on the defensive play of the McDavid, Draisaitl, Roslovic line. I didn't think it was a good idea. I thought they might get outplayed like this, and I think there's a better chance with a defensive line out there against those guys to stymie them. So.
I'm not sure who that line is. I hear your argument. The other argument is, why put them on the same line in a situation like this? Why not split them up? And so you've got one going head to head with McKinnon line, and you've got the soft match with the next pairing, right? At the end of the day, I got to say, I'm kind of a fan of playing your best players against their best players. I don't mind that, but certainly after a performance like this, you are not wrong to point out how it didn't go well.
I wrote it before the game, so otherwise I wouldn't bring it up. But in my game notes today, I said, I was hoping Nuge might lead a line against the McKinnon line. Just some other line that would have that task of shutting down McKinnon. And turns out Nuge didn't have a very good game either. No, I mean, very few people.
I was
Oilers
just going to say who did.
Okay, Kurt, let's get at it. Where do they go from here? This is the biggest down moment of the season, obviously.
Well, if we really get to the nut of it, here's what I think the nut of it is. I think the first thing that the general manager needs to decide is this team not as good as I thought it was? Yeah. Honestly, I think that is the first and most important thing that needs to be done, is for Stan Bowman to go, well, this looked good on paper, but it ain't. All the talk we heard from our friend Bob about it's the best NHL defense in the NHL. Well, it's clearly not. Right? Stuart Skinner's ready to take the next step. He ain't. Right? Oh, this is a deeper Oilers forward ranks than other years. No, they're not. Oh, the kids, the youth, all that energy will drag everybody into the fight. Well, it isn't. So I think the general manager needs to go, what's wrong here? So I think that's step one. I'll stop and let you comment on that, but I've got a couple other thoughts as well.
I agree with it. That's a good thought, Kurt. And I'm going to, my own thought is, step one is, and I've been wondering about this for a while now. Okay, all of these defensemen played better under Paul Coffey than they had played under Dave Manson. They all started to make more passes and defend better under Paul Coffey in his 2 years here, almost 2 years. And they've all gotten dramatically worse in the first 16 games under Mark Stewart. So there was this huge boost in improved play from the defensemen under Paul Coffey. They were worse under Manson. They're much worse under Stewart so far, in admittedly a small sample size of games, to be fair to the coach. And that coach did a great job with the PK in the 2024 playoffs. So I'm not saying fire him. He has a role on the team. But I don't know why Paul Coffey's not coaching. It was never made clear what happened. We heard rumors about a bad back, some talk about maybe a different philosophy with old school Paul, pushing him too hard, that kind of thing. We don't know, though. And I've never heard an insider actually give a credible explanation about why he didn't come back. Coffey himself has never talked about it. If there's a chance you can bury the hatchet, if there's a chance you can make this work, whatever it was, and again, I don't know what it was, but I think they should make an effort to bring Paul Coffey back right now. I think they should reach out to him and say, listen, man, this team, we're struggling. You seem to have the right touch with the defenseman. we're struggling. We could use you, Paul. Will you come back? And can we work this out with you?
Well, it's a really interesting thought, and the thought has occurred to me as well. But I don't think it's an original thought, because I think the chatter had been out there, and I started thinking about it. On Mark Stewart for a minute. I'm sure Mark Stewart's a good man. I don't know him personally. I don't hold any grudges against him. But you know what? The PK was crap last year.
Yeah.
So this year, what happens? Well, he takes over the defense. What is it? Crap. So, maybe he's just not a good NHL coach.
Could be. I mean,
I'm sure not going to put all this on one assistant coach.
No.
That's patently unfair. But, yeah. I mean, what has he done well so far?
Well, they were really good in the 2024 playoffs, PK, right? And he was the coach then. So there was that, and that's a pretty big thing in his favor, right? Like, they got to the Stanley Cup final in large part, in some part, in significant part, let's put it that way, on the strength of that incredible PK. So I give him credit for that. And I'm willing to say, okay, he should be the PK coach. Man, if they can bring back Paul Coffey, if that's a possibility, they need to explore that seriously.
Well,
because this is an obvious thing where teachers make a difference. Good coaches make a difference. I really believe that, Kurt. I think coaching, really good coaching, makes a huge difference in performance. And I think we saw it with Paul Coffey. And I think the evidence is clear. And make the effort. That's what I'd say.
Well, I don't think Paul Coffey ever wanted to leave. I don't believe that for a second. I think at the end of the day, it came down to who's really the head coach of this team.
Ouch. See, so now you may know more than I, and I'm not suggesting that you know more than I do. I don't know anything about it. Maybe you know more than I do, but that's the vibe that I've gotten, Kurt. So I'm not asking you to reveal anything, sources or what you've heard, but that's the vibe I got. But if that's the case, Chris Knobloch's got to think about that and think, all right, can I be the head coach with a really strong personality coaching the defense? If that means winning more, maybe there's something to learn from Paul Coffey. Maybe I'm in the wrong, and maybe I've got to step up here and bring him back.
And that is my point. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Is that your point?
That's my point.
I don't want to say it for you.
No, you were very eloquent.
I raised this about a month ago, and I felt it was really premature with Coffey, but you could see it right away, this difference in the defense.
Yeah.
It was evident, like there was something different. And I was hoping, okay, it's going to go away. This is, it's way too premature to say this. And I had heard some grumbling about Coffey, so I'm just, wondering, and
I think there was some, legitimately.
Yeah.
Yep.
The playoff pairings, I didn't like them. I didn't like Coffey's, but I think in retrospect, a lot of Paul Coffey's problems with playoff pairings was finding the right player to play with Darnell Nurse, which has been a major challenge. And maybe there was no right answer there.
Here's an old saying from my journalism life, but I find it applies to a lot of different things, including sports. Does he help you more than he hurts you?
Yeah.
And I think that might be Paul Coffey. I think that might be Paul Coffey.
Okay. Yes, and Nurse, but certainly with Paul Coffey. Anyway, yeah, it's really interesting. Because it's just clouded in this mystery. We don't know. And but it looks like an obvious thing to do. All right, enough time on that, Kurt. Is there any you wanted to make some more points? What are they?
Well, it was coaching related, which was, and we kind of touched on that anyway. I think Chris Knobloch probably needs to sit down and go, maybe I made some assumptions about this team and how I wanted them to play, and maybe they're wrong. And maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board and say, and you see that, like that's a very human thing. I thought this 5-on-5 system would work. Well, it's not. Like, you have to admit that the Oilers on the power play this year have been great. They've got the second best power play in the NHL. And on the PK, they've been better than they were last year. They've taken a step forward. Their game 5-on-5 is killing them right now. It's killing them.
It really is, Kurt. It truly is. Like, before this game, they had 150 grade A shots at even strength. They've given up 165.
Yeah.
And this is the Oilers. Yeah. With Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and supposedly the sixth best defenseman, like, as a group in the NHL.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So I think the coach needs to go, you know what? I thought this would work. And if he has the human, and I think Chris Knobloch is the kind of guy who would do this. So I mean to give him credit by saying this. A good coach would suck back and go, you know what? I think I'm wrong. I think for the better of the team, I need to change this.
I don't really have another point because I think the major problem with the team is the defense and the goaltending. They already changed the goalie coach. The GM, they went into the season with the idea of giving Skinner and Pickard another chance. They're still doing that. They have this young guy in the ECHL who's had 3 straight shutouts. Samuel Janssen. Yeah. He'll be 22 soon. What they might think about doing, they have these 2 goalies who are struggling in the AHL level in Tompkins and Ingram. And one of the things they need to do organizationally is think, all right, it's a bit of a long shot, but we kind of expected one of the young goalies to be the backup in Bakersfield this year. And then we had a chance to get Connor Ingram. And, so now we have 2 veterans instead of 1, and both of the young guys are at a slightly lower level of play. We've got to rethink that and move out one of the veteran AHL goalies and bring in one of the rookies like we had planned in the summer to play in the AHL. And let's see what if it's Janssen, and it probably is, I think.
Based on play, yeah.
It is. Let's get him in the AHL and sooner than later. Because if he goes for a couple months in the AHL and is still killing it, this has happened in the past where goalies come up fast and play well. It's not unheard of. He's not 19 or 18. He's going to be, as I say, let me just get his birthday for sure, so I'm not misleading myself or anyone. In December, he's 20. He's 21 now. He's 22 in December. Yeah. He was the best goalie in the Swedish second division. Anyway, get him in the AHL as part of the right process in making the correct decisions about what you're going to do with your goaltending. And that's all I'm really saying at this point.
I mean, I think you can do that, but I just don't see how that's going to solve your NHL goaltending. And in my next breath, I'll say, I don't think the Oilers are in this hole because of their goaltending. Their goaltending hasn't been great. It probably hasn't even been good. But I can point to precious few games where I go, they lost that because of the goaltender. There's been too many other issues.
I agree with you, Kurt. I don't think that it's been the biggest issue. I think the defense is. Yep. And that's why I'm suggesting a pretty radical thing, actually, in terms of bringing back Coffey.
Yeah. But if you look at this defense on paper, I don't know if you see it the way I see it, they should be a good defense.
They should, because Ekholm seems like he's healthy enough.
Yeah.
Wallman seems like he's moving okay. Right. I like Regula. He looks like a good player. Bouchard and Nurse have been really good in the past. They're both in the prime of their careers. There's no reason they can't be playing well.
Kulak was about the only Oilers defenseman who didn't suck tonight, and he's been their best, their most consistent defenseman all season.
These are all good players. It seems like there's something else going on, that they're just completely out of sync.
Yep.
So let's get them in sync and fast. And
Paul Coffey still works for your organization. Like, you don't need to go out and hire anybody, right? Like, he's right next door. Hey, Paul, come on back.
Listen, there's a lot of fans. Like, there's incredible discontent right now around Chris Knobloch's handling of the team, and I don't share it because I think he's taken the team to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row.
Yes.
And it's just like Bouchard. I've got a lot of patience for you if you come up big in the playoffs. I have a lot of patience for Chris Knobloch. He's got a big decision to make here, I think, though. Mm-hmm. You're right. He's got to look at all his systems, what he's doing. He's got to think about what he's doing. And I think he has this other thing that we've already talked about with his assistant coaches. So it's a big moment for him. I think he's going to make the right calls, but it might take some reversing from him and going back on things that he thought were right. That's hard to do, but I agree with you with Knobloch. I think he can do that.
Yep.
I think he doesn't have a big ego. he's a super smart guy, and I think he's a really good teacher. But he's got some humility about him. I really respect and admire this guy as an individual, and as I think he's a good coach. So
I like him as a man and as a coach as well. I think he's intelligent. I think he's thoughtful. He's paid his dues on the way up.
Yeah.
All those things. So while I'm certainly frustrated with his coaching right now, he should be a part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Any other thoughts, Kurt? Any other thing that you'd like to add?
Not directly related to the game tonight, but we're going to see roster moves coming up in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Because both Janmark and soon Hyman are ready to go, and so that means roster spots and salary have to shift here to make that happen. And at least two players that are here today are going to have to not be here later on.
Yeah, I suspect Tomasek and Howard will be in the AHL. Yep. If they can't trade Janmark, maybe they want to bring back Janmark because they think that will boost the team, having his veteran presence there. But you know what? Final thought on Coffey, and I know I've been beating this pretty hard here, beating this drum. We've talked about the lack of kind of fight and spirit and the kind of character on this team, like a big personality like Corey Perry. Paul Coffey's a pretty big personality.
He is indeed.
And again, probably hard if you're the coach, if you're Coach Chris Knobloch, to have this big personality there and to deal with that. But maybe that's the tonic that you need for your team.
Yeah, and Chris isn't that guy.
No.
And I don't think neither you or I want him to be somebody he's not.
No.
Right? His strength is who he is. Yeah. The point is to have a bad cop. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think Paul, like, I think Coffey, with his insistence on making good plays with those defensemen, just don't throw it away, don't throw away the puck, make a good play. That's the good, like, I think he's also, he amounts to the good cop because he brings out the best in those players by insisting on tape-to-tape passes, on excellence in moving the puck.
So I tend to agree with you, but just to play devil's advocate on that. So do you think they forgot everything that he taught them so fast? I mean, these are all smart veteran players. Like that was a pretty abrupt about turn, don't you think?
I do think it's not that they forgot about it. If you get the wrong mix, confidence goes away quickly. And performance comes with confidence, with a mental attitude. And I don't know how Coffey did it, but I'm saying he did it because the results are there.
I agree with that.
They performed better on the attack and they performed better on defense. They were a more confident, sharp group of players under him. So I think it does go away when confidence goes away. Yeah. And the wrong messages, whatever they are, they start to impact the players on the ice.
You know, I guess I'd close in this segment to say, well, we've spent a whole lot of time talking about what the organization needs to do. We've talked precious little time about what the players themselves want to do. But I think watching that game tonight, it's abundantly clear. I don't think we need to say it.
Just work harder. Just dig the F in.
Do your job.
Yeah. All right. Kurt,
that was a tough one tonight, but I think it all needed to be said, right?
Yeah. Kurt, thanks again for talking tonight.
It's my pleasure.
And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.